Okay, we are at the top of the hour, so let's go. Let's go. Good morning. My name is Melissa Agnes, and this is Morning Lives with me, Melissa Agnes, a daily space to help leaders like you stay grounded and connected to your inner strength, your resilience, and your purpose. So if you're doing work that matters, which you are, just frankly, yes, you are, and you want to lead from continuous or continual unwavering steadiness, increased clarity, vision, clarity, belief, and deeper connection to yourself, connection to whether you want to call it the divine, infinite intelligence, God, co-creator, universe, quantum, whatever word you want to put to that, and connection to those you are leading as you step into what you're called to do. These morning lives are for you. I show up every weekday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, to share one anchoring message that's meant to be a motivational truth. Not opinion. If it's opinion, I will state so. Really a motivational anchoring truth. And then I lead one short drop-in to help you get centered, aligned, in coherence so that you can lead through your day with more clarity. So one of the things that I say is that I'm not necessarily here to teach you anything new. Maybe I will, but likely I won't, because it's remembrances. I am just here to help you remember what's true and what's real and what actually matters as you lead the important missions that you are on. So quick little things. There is no wrong way to do a drop-in. I'll say that again later, but I'm saying that now. There is a lag. So from the time that I speak and the time you actually hear me is about 30 seconds, give or take, of a lag. So if you write in the comments, which I love when you do, there will be a lag from when I see it and respond and when you actually hear me. And most importantly, I believe, is if you know of other leaders who would benefit from these mornings, please share them with them. Please share my profile. Please let them know that these exist, because I have a big vision and mission with this, and I need your help in order to achieve that. Okay, so this morning, what I want to share with you, I'm just going to pop onto IG and make sure, see if anybody's talking. No. Okay, so this morning, what I want to share with you is a remembrance, is a reminder, and it stems from a lot of things, especially one of my coaching clients last night really inspired me. And that is that success is not a straight line. Success is not a straight line. I don't know who thought that it would be smart to let us believe that, but it's not. In fact, so if I were to design, I'm going to draw here, I were to design a spiral, okay, upward spiral. See that? That is what success looks like. You start at this point, right? This is where you start. You learn something new. You get good at it. You're having a great week and you're feeling like, I've got this, right? Whether it's a personal achievement or like personal growing and learning and evolution, or if it's something with your business or it's something with your mission, whatever it might be. You learned something new. You've decided to take on a new feat. You're up here. You're feeling on top of the world. You're feeling successful. And then what happens? That expression of 2 steps forward, 5 steps backwards, to 7 steps forwards, to 3 steps backwards, that's this. You continue going and whoops, you drop. You go back to old patterns. You go back to old habits. You go back to old belief systems, which is normal, right? It was so natural. But guess what? When you drop down, you're still higher up than you were to begin. And that is the loop, the continual loop of our evolution, of our growth, and of success. And then once, whatever this spiral is, whatever this goal and mission was, and you're on to the next, because now you're all the way up here and you've really embodied that skill or embodied that growth and evolution, guess what? You're now going to be at the bottom of the next piece of your evolution. So all of that to say a couple things. But success is not a straight line. So when we go backwards, when we default to old patterns or we make mistakes because we are human, that doesn't mean you are failing. That doesn't mean you have failed. And in looking at failure, there's a difference between temporary defeat and failure. Failure is actually a choice. You choose when you want to decide that you're going to stop trying or stop working on something or towards something and therefore have failed. If you never choose to fail, you never fail. You continue on that spiral, right? And so therefore I always talk about how we have choice and agency and control over our thoughts. So how we see something absolutely matters. So when you are working towards a big mission, success isn't a straight line, and defeat and failure, temporary defeat and failure are completely, completely different. And I'm going through my notes because I took notes for you. So failure isn't actually failure, or unless you choose for it to be. So let's go to temporary defeat. Let's say failure is a choice and temporary defeat is what happens when you go back down that spiral, right? That at the downward motion, but you're still higher up than you were to begin. Temporary defeat is information. It's intel. Success isn't a straight line, which means we're going to fumble, which means we're going to divert, which means we're going to regress in order to continuously evolve. And so every time we experience what we would qualify as failure or temporary defeat, it is simply, and we can choose to see it this way, information. It's information, it's intel, it's insight. It is valuable because it allows us to stop, to reflect, to look at where we are, where we're going, what's going on, to make adjustments, to evolve, and to course correct so that you can actually get to that next upward spiral, right? The next point in the upward spiral, or quote unquote success for whatever you are seeking to achieve, whatever you're working towards. So I'm really into Napoleon Hill these days because I'm reading his book. Next book I read, I'll be into that person so long as I love the book, but why would I read it if I didn't love it? So right now I have another quote from Napoleon Hill, which is analyze temporary defeat. This is choice. Choose to analyze temporary defeat, no matter what nature or cause, right? And extract from it the seed of an equivalent advantage. Because apparently, and if we choose to see this, we can find it, in every adversity, there is a seed of an equivalent advantage. Why? Because the universe is balanced. It's not heavily to either side of good or evil or right or wrong or a positive or negative or whatever. The universe is balanced. So if you have a temporary defeat and you know that it's intel, and you know that in that defeat is the seed, let me get my words right, of an equivalent advantage towards your success, great. It's up to you to then find it and to not count it as failure or to not decide that it is failure. Okay. And then lastly, I will say there is a Chinese proverb that says, the temptation to give up is greatest right before you're about to succeed. Isn't it funny how that works? You don't know necessarily, where's my spiral, when the top of the spiral will be, right? So we keep going and we remember that it's not failure. And then again, just Napoleon Hill, success usually is but one short step beyond the point where one quits fighting. That's depressing. That's depressing. How many people quit and deem themselves a failure or the mission of failure or whatever, the goal failed. And had they continued, they would have gotten to that other side of complete success, complete win, complete goal achievement, etc. Mission impact, all the things. So that's today's remembrance. Success is not a straight line, and failure is a choice. You don't fail until you choose to fail, until you actually give up. So if you choose to not give up, you will succeed. And there's other universal laws that dictate that. We can go into those another day. But that is what I wanted to share with you today. Type in the chat if you have anything that you want to contribute or add or ask. And as you do that, let's go into our drop-in. Just I want today's drop-in to be, I want today's drop-in going on like success isn't a straight line, failure is a choice, all the things that I just said. I want that to just land in your body. Because maybe you feel like things are failing, or maybe you feel like you've failed or you're failing at whatever it is that, insert in the blank of whatever it is that you're doing or your mission is or your goal is or whatever it is. And what if, I love playing what if you're absolutely not? What if you're just moments, days, steps, energy, a breath away from achieving everything you are working on or working towards? What if? And so in today's drop-in, let's just ground into that. Let's ground into that what if. Let's ground into the release of the feeling of failure, because the feeling of failure is really sucky. It's a really shitty feeling. And failure is a choice. So you can choose to feel different. You can choose to see it differently. All right. And if that doesn't resonate with you, then just ground yourself and do whatever your body is telling you to do, because you are your highest authority. I am just inviting a suggestion, a frame of a perspective, etc. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, welcome. We do a morning grounding, a morning meditation, a morning breathwork session, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of all of the above to help you get into alignment and coherence. So as leaders, when we are in coherence, this means that our brain waves, our heartbeat rhythms, or heart rhythms, our energy, our intuition, all the things that our body holds, that is a part of being a human, is completely in harmony. It's in sync. That's what incoherence means. And when we are in a state of coherence, we take ourselves out of survival, out of fear, and we put ourselves into creation, where we remember that every possibility exists in superposition, and that failure is an illusion, that failure is a choice, and you have everything that it takes in you to achieve your mission and your goals. And when you are in coherence, it feels, because it is easier to achieve that, because we're out of fear, we're out of survival. So what we do in these drop-ins is we just get still, close your eyes. I lead through a breathwork session where I just guide you, and you focus on my words and where I guide you, and or wherever your body is telling you to go. So focusing on your body rather than your thoughts. So for those of you who have a hamster wheel of thoughts, which most of us do, many of us do, what helps for me is simply to tell my thoughts, all right, I hear you. I know you're present. I know there's a lot for me to think about. I get it. I hear you. But for now, for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to be tapped into my body so that I can get into coherence, so that I can hear you and analyze you and process you thoughts with even more clarity. So it's to your benefit, and I'll be back. And that might sound so silly, and it is so simple. And my invitation is to try it. Try it and see if it works for you, because it works wonders for me. And how lovely that it's so simple, right? Okay, so if you are driving, please do not do this drop-in. It is not safe. You can come back to the recording. If you are, doing anything where you can't be still, come back to the recording. If you can be still, and you're in public, you're in a cafe, you're at a WeWork, you're in a cubicle, you're at your office, wherever you might be, there's a window, whatever it might be, and you're thinking, I could do this, but people would see me and I'm going to potentially look silly. Well, here's what I have to say to that. I have to say that when you are in coherence, you are a stronger, more resilient, more embodied, more resonant leader. And your nervous system being regulated, which is what happens when you get into coherence, now co-regulates those around you. So once you do this and you show up every day as that powerful leader, aligned leader that you are, your highest potential, people will start going, what is it that you're doing in the morning? Because I like the results and I'd like to try it for myself. So you get to lead by example. So encouragement, permission, invitation to feel silly and do it anyway, because it'll be worth it. Okay, so when you are ready, getting still, closing distractions. It's only 10 minutes. This is a gift to yourself. 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes. I don't care. You have 10 minutes. I do care. I don't care like what the excuse is. I can rebut that. You have 10 minutes. It's choice. Choose to take it. Gift yourself this. And when you're ready, what we're going to do today is simply the halo active breath. So it's in through the nose, out through the mouth. I will guide, I will cue, always remembering that your body is your highest authority. Your body knows what you need. So no matter what I say, your body wins from the perspective of guiding you and being your highest authority. Okay, so closing down your eyes, getting still or softening your gaze, whatever feels most comfortable to you. And let's begin that breath. So in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. If you have thoughts, it's perfectly natural, it's perfectly normal. Whenever a thought takes over and you realize it, just come back to your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And on your next exhale, so you go in through the nose when you're ready. And on your next exhale through your mouth, invitation to follow with your awareness, with your consciousness. Follow that breath out through the mouth and down through your body. So follow it as you feel it go in through your chest, down to your belly, and then follow it all the way down to your seat bones. And the sensation of the chair that you're sitting on against your body. So we're keeping that breath flowing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and we're bringing our focus to the sensation of the chair or the couch or the floor, wherever you're sitting, against your skin. And just feel for a few seconds what it feels like and how safe you are in this moment to release, to breathe, and to let go, because no matter how much weight you sink in to that surface that you're resting upon, it's got you. And it doesn't mind. Which means you are safe to be present and you are safe to breathe. You are safe to take these moments for you. And when you're ready, on your next inhale through the nose, following that breath with your awareness, up from your sit bones, through your belly, and landing right on your heart space, right in your chest. And from here, we're going to do heart-focused breathing, which HeartMath Institute's research shows us that when we focus on breathing, so you're still breathing in and out, in through your nose and out through your mouth, but it's as though you're imagining that those breaths are actually being taken by your heart center, by your chest. So you're imagining with your inhale that your chest cavity, your heart center is opening up, that your heart's electromagnetic field is expanding as wide as you could imagine it expanding. So all of that oxygen, all of that energy is being intaken from your heart. And with every exhale through your mouth, you're allowing the breath, the exhale, to feel so good in your body, allowing it to calm you, allowing it to bring you peace, tranquility, stillness. Allowing both the inhale through your heart and the exhale deeper into your body to feel so good. This is your breath. This is your life force. It is allowed to feel good. how good can you allow this breath to feel? Keeping that breath flowing in through the nose, opening up that heart space, out through the mouth, sinking more deeply and deeply into your body. And as you continue flowing this breath, invitation to just listen to these words. What if the goal, the mission, the dream that you are working towards, what if successful achievement of that goal, mission, dream is right around the corner? What if the moments where you feel temporary defeat, you remember that that's all it is temporary defeat, which is information, an opportunity to sit still, to reflect, and to extract the seed of equivalent advantage that will allow you to course correct and to continue towards that inevitable achievement of your mission, vision, goal, and dreams. What if that got to feel good? Keep that breath flowing. Let that breath flow, let that breath feel good, and let the what if land in your system with hope, with inspiration, and with excitement, rightful excitement, because your next win is right around the corner. So you get to be excited about how that's going to come to be. And whenever doubt or defeat or worry or concern, the idea of failure, which is simply an idea, comes into your system, come back to your breath. Let the breath feel good, and then go back to the what if. What if your next win is right around the corner? What if the temporary defeat is your opportunity to reassess, realign, and extract the seed of equivalent advantage towards your next win? Let that hope land, let that inspiration land, let that excitement for that win land, and let the gratitude for that next win land. Keeping that breath flowing. And in the last few moments of breath, bringing a hand to your heart, if you don't already have one there, and just taking a moment of deep gratitude. You made a choice this morning to choose you. You made a choice this morning out of all of the chaos and all of the fear and the doubt and all the things that could have taken you, the distractions could have taken your attention. You chose you. And you get to be grateful to you for that. Gratitude for the universe because it is balanced, which means that failure is a choice and you don't have to choose it. And gratitude to your body for this access to ease and flow and calm and alignment and stillness and clarity and all the things that are your divine right and that are always a breath away. All you have to do is remember to take it. And when you're ready, wiggling your fingers and your toes and coming back to the moment. And if you feel so called, I would love to hear how that landed for you, what that experience was for you. And before we go, lean into the day, I'm going to show you the spiral again. Success is not a straight line. Success, in reality, is an upward spiral. We start here, we make progress, we feel great about the progress, and then we learn a lesson, or we repeat an old pattern, or we fall into an old belief system, or whatever the case might be. But when we fall here, we are still higher than we were when we originated. And then the joy of life is that once you get to the top and you've achieved what it is, your mission, that your goal that you've set out to achieve, guess what? New spiral begins. Because you are an evolutionary being, and that's the sequence. So in the moments where you feel like you're failing, remember that failure is a choice and you don't have to feel it. You don't have to choose it. There's a difference between temporary defeat and failure. Failure means you've given up. That is your choice. That's your prerogative. But you're not a victim to it. It's choice. You can instead, if you don't want to give up, you really believe in this mission, this dream, this vision, this goal, you can choose to remember that the temporary defeat is a part of the evolution, is a part of the trajectory of what success is, because success isn't a straight line. And that temporary defeat is an opportunity to get still, to get quiet, to realign, to extract the seed of equivalent advantage of the temporary defeat, and to course correct. It is data. Temporary defeat is data. So that you can succeed, because you will. When you keep going, you will inevitably succeed. So long as, right, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's not what we're talking about. That's why in the moments of temporary defeat, we get still, we look, we realign, we reassess, we intake the data, and we course correct. That's not the same thing as the definition of insanity. And there is the Chinese proverb that says the temptation to give up is the greatest right before you're about to succeed. Success is not a straight line, and failure is optional, and it's your choice. All right, I hope that landed with you today. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and you know that I will be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, live on IG and LinkedIn simultaneously for another Morning Lives with me, Melissa Agnes, where I offer one anchoring truth to help you remember what's true and real and actually important towards your goal, your mission, your vision, your dreams. And then we do one drop-in to help you get into alignment, get into your inner power, get connected with infinite intelligence that is accessible to you when we get out of our brains, out of our analytical minds, out of fear, and into our bodies. And so we just practice it every morning together. There's no wrong way to do it. There's just showing up and choosing you. All right, with that, I wish you the most beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Bye.